Internet friends, I'm Ryan, and this is Demos in the Dark, and it is daytime out. A demo for me usually is a 2-day process. The first day is usually spent writing and recording the track, and the second day is spent doing the demo and then the actual editing. Now, a lot of people have asked about the EchoFix EF-X2 that I have back here, basically asking why I don't use it. And the fact is I use it all the time. I just use it a little bit differently than I think your typical guitar player thinks about how to use this particular machine. So I just got done building a track. I wrote all the parts, I played all the rhythm tracks, and typically what I like to do is mix that up, and then I record the guitar part. I set up the cameras, record the guitar part in the evening. And I want to show you there will be EF-X2 kind of all over the rhythm part of this particular track. And I want to show you how I use it. So let's go. Okay, so we have here a basic track portion that I've built out, and we have drums here. And I want you to notice that with battery, which is what I use, you're able to separate that out into overhead, kick, snare, hi-hat. You're able to do that with a lot of other things as well, but that's important if you're looking for a really good drum sound. And then we have some auxiliary percussion. We have shaker, a couple of different tambourines, and a conga. Next, we have a Mellotron, and I actually used the Logic Vintage Mellotron because I think it sounds really stinking good. I like it a lot. So I have that in here. Then I have my Rhodes. I have a bass and a rhythm track. Now let's take a listen to it and just see kind of what we think. So we're going to talk about something that has absolutely nothing to do with the EF-X2, but it's something that people have been begging for a long time, and so let's just get it out of the way. Let's talk about these drums. So it's a MIDI drum track. You can see that there, but I did it in battery, and that is there. And you can use anything. Battery is just something that I happen to be accustomed to. So what you want to do is you want to separate these out. Like I said at the beginning, you want your kick, your snare, your hi-hat, and then some overheads. And then what we're going to do is we'll put those into a drum bus, and we'll apply some more compression, some final mixing, and get it ready for mastering. But let's take each drum mic, if you will, individually and just kind of get what some of those sound like. So this is the sound of the kick. And that's not super great. So what we can do is we can add this here. This is a 1073 from UAD and Neve. Ooh, now we're getting better. Now we are getting better. And then we can add some compression with a Fairchild. Ooh, dumping. And then we will add a UAD Pultec just to get some little bit more of that punch going with it. There it is. Now that kick sounds great. Then we have our snare. Not wonderful. So we're going to go 1073 again. Better. And then we are going to add some distressor to that. Gets a little bit extra saturation there. Okay, and then we have our hats. And I'm not going to do a lot with the hats right now. I like Neutron 4 because it's a really easy EQ, but you can use any kind of EQ plugin and get this. Just softened it a little bit. And then we have the overheads, and we're going to do just the same thing. We're going to add some mix, and we're going to add some compression. And then what I'll do afterwards is I will put those drums into a drum bus. I will add a little bit of saturation. I will add some reverb. I will add some compression, and some final sculpting on the EQ. Those are the drums. So now we're going to get to keys. And for keys and the rhythm guitar, I'm going to be all over the Tape Echo EF-X2 from EF-X. Adds a lot of cool saturation, adds a lot of cool depth, even some air and things like that. So it's something that I really, really like to put on things just to give it a little bit more presence. And this is really easy to use. We have a couple of different controls there. We have pretty much just reverb, decay, and volume, speed, and echo volume. And then you got a bass and treble and a feedback. And then you have 7 different echo modes there. The first one is head 1, and that's a short head. The second one is head 2, and that is a medium head. And then mode 3 is a long head. Then 4, 5, 6, and 7 have different combinations of both of those heads for some extra coolness going on there. All right, so I have the EF-X in my patch bay. It is always in my patch bay because it's great and I want to use it whenever I can. And I am going to pull up that Rhodes track. I want to make the Rhodes track sound bigger. I want to make it sound roomier, but I also want to add a little bit of saturation into it. And the EF-X does all of that and more. So let's see what kind of sound we can get out of it. So now I'm going to be running the Mellotron through, and the Mellotron is actually a MIDI plug-in instrument. So one of the ways you can make those sound a little bit more real is by adding some tape to it. So I'm going to add some tape with the EF-X. Probably how I use the EF-X2 the most. I use it mostly in mixing, and I use it for some extra character and things like that. But that said, it's a heck of a guitar unit, so let's run it down, running straight into there and into a guitar amp like Jimmy Page intended it.